Hello, we're live. We're live here from the barn. Nicole is coming somewhere. He was Honeydew Project fixing the sign in our arena. It's a windy day here.
Very windy day.
In California, day after Thanksgiving. We hope that you had a wonderful Thanksgiving and got to spend some quality time with your animals, with your friends, with your family. Today, Nicole has scheduled a special live for us.
Yes, today is exercises we're thankful for, and Amelia is here to demonstrate all of the ones that we're thankful for. So
yes,
I'm very excited. I think I've been excited about this all week.
Okay. And if you haven't yet, check out our limited time course. It's Winter Riding with Amelia. So inside that course, you're going to get a bunch of exercises that you can do in winter when it's cold or windy or rainy, or you can't even get to the barn and you're feeling really depressed and like you want to give up. So we're going to be highlighting a few of those exercises. The course is only available through Monday evening. So make sure to check it out, because we don't want you to give up and get discouraged this winter.
Exactly.
Do you ever feel discouraged in the winter?
Oh, all the time. I don't know if it's a winter problem, but definitely accentuated in the winter.
Yes. I used to always think about quitting riding every single winter. I would get so discouraged, but there are other ways that you can stay consistent and you can stay motivated and you can do different types of things with your horse. Even things like learning and watching and reading a book or working on your fitness, all of that stuff is going to help you to stay consistent and make progress on days that maybe you can't go to the barn or it's too windy or it's too cold. So Mercurio thinks that I should feed him cookies.
All the cookies.
And he wants to block you from
I know. Well, he really is the star of the show. So
yes. And he had a bath because he was filthy. Okay, so what's your first exercise that we're grateful for?
Well, disengaging the hind end is
Should I demonstrate it?
Yes,
Okay.
I think, and
come here. You got.
I know I have countless stories with young horses being spooky or nervous at new places, and this exercise really helps for like when you get off the trail or someplace new, or you walk into the stall and something's different, and you don't even have them like in their working kit yet. You don't even have their saddle on, and they're just being kind of unruly and pushy. But yeah, I don't know, Amelia, you probably have lots of stories like that too.
Yeah, I feel like this exercise has saved me from getting bucked off so many times, or allowed me to get on horses that otherwise I wouldn't. And basically with disengaging the hindquarters, what you want is you want your horse to bend. And then what's really important is that you want that inside hind stepping over and across. So see, his right hind is stepping over and across the left hind. Good boy. And then make sure that you can do that in both directions. If you can disengage the hind end, then when your horse bolts or bucks or does something silly like that, you have a chance of controlling them. Step forward, buddy. Good boy. But it is always important that you do it first from the ground, that you teach your horse to bend and yield their hind end from the ground before you get on them. Because if you wait until you have a problem, like if you wait for your horse to bolt or buck and then try to bend them, it usually does not work well. So that's definitely a good exercise to start with. What else, Nicole?
What about the pole release?
Oh yes, the pole release. We would also love if you're watching here live. Do you have people watching live?
Yeah, we do.
Who's watching live?
Ryan's watching live, Hannah, Randy, Paula, Barbara.
Awesome. Well, hello if you're watching live. We would love to hear one exercise that you're grateful for, one thing that you're grateful for. So the pole release is basically, Mercurio doesn't do the pole release very well. I have a true confession to make here. We'll see how he's going to do it today. But the pole release is basically that if you put pressure on your horse's pole, you want them to drop their head down. And the reason this is such a useful exercise is because it changes your horse's energy level. It helps your horse to relax. It helps your horse to focus. It makes it easier to put the bridle on, all of those things. And we do, so inside the winter riding program, we show you a bunch of different exercises, including if you're having trouble with the pole release, like if your horse just won't put their pole down, how to work on that.
Yeah, and I love this one because you can do this one in the stall with your horse. Like if it's such a icy, gross day, they can't even go into turnout, or you can't even get them in the arena. Like
that's true.
You can do this
come
in
in front of the camera.
Well, you're doing stuff. I don't want to stand in front of you.
I don't want to be here alone. You have to come in front of the camera too. Herman's arrived. Wave to the camera as you enter.
Herman, do you have any other groundwork ones that you're thankful for?
I'm still in fixing sign. What happened now?
What groundwork exercises are you thankful for?
Turn on the forehand, because it does incorporate a little bit of that, get the pull down, the pull release, and then it already starts to mimic that the rider's inside leg, getting the inside hind leg over.
Yeah, so the turn on the forehand is the next step after you do the disengaging the hind end. So for the turn on the forehand, you have the reins over your horse's neck. And same thing, you want that inside hind leg stepping over, but now you're working on getting your horse going into that outside rein connection. And what's cool about groundwork is that you can teach the aids from the ground. Like you can
like riding the horse from the ground.
Yes, it's like riding the horse from the
Well,
ground.
and we were away at a different facility, and we watched this older expert, and they have a ledge around the arena, and he stood on the ledge and rode the horse from the side of the arena, which was really cool.
That was very cool. But so much of riding and so much of training is just figuring out how to break it down, how to be able to communicate with your horse. And it's important to consider that what you do with your horse on the ground, that carries over to under saddle. And you can either be training your horse good things or untraining your horse.
You're going to be teaching them. Whatever you're doing, you are teaching them, whether it be good or ill, you're teaching them when you're next to them.
Yes. So I'm going to give you the mic while I get on, and you're going to talk about, since you're like the geometry person, you're going to talk about how you're grateful for good geometry and cones.
You mean how appreciative I am when I see people actually ride correct geometry?
Yeah.
And I don't have to get excited and yell and get out of my chair and go walk the circle.
Were you impressed that I measured out the circle earlier?
I saw the tape measure out here, and I was like, ooh, very nice.
It wasn't super accurately measured.
And the reason that the geometry is so important is that, simplify, the things that you do to stay on the line of travel, right? So you're looking at your spot, you're using your left limbs, you're using your right limbs. The things that you do with your body to stay on the line of travel, that teaches the horse. And it isn't like a big to do about, oh, my inside leg, you just look where you want to go, keep your horse in the middle aids and go there. That will put the horse better on the aids.
What advice do you have to people who don't have an arena?
Oh, if you don't have an arena, wherever you're riding, you can measure out some space. You can put some cones out and just go to the marks that you've aligned.
Or we used to use spray paint as well, like out in the field. Like
spray paint works. Like talcum powder too, because it stays.
Oh, that's probably more eco-friendly than spray paint on the grass.
Right. So any of these things. All right. Do you want the microphone back now that you're gonna? All right. So you're gonna ride the diamond, right? 4 straight lines with 4 turns. So you do this. You not have enough outside rein. Keep his neck straight, and you got to keep your right leg there. Now I'm going to say Nicole's a lot meaner than I am. I give them more room.
You want me to make them wider for you, Amelia?
Nah, she'll figure it out. She'll be fine. So there you can see, if you're looking at home, you want to see the nose that stays in the middle of the chest. As you approach the spot, you make the turning aid, then you release the inside rein. You ride both legs forward to the outside rein holding, and you get to the next spot. Now the turning aid. The inside rein indicates the turn, but the outside rein actually turns the shoulder. You need to turn the shoulder, not the horse's head. And so there's the turn. You face the new spot. The inside rein releases. You hug with both legs, give them a little squishy, and say, step towards the mark. And then we make the turning aid again.
Why do we ride a diamond instead of a
And
square?
for those of you who couldn't hear, Amelia said, why do we ride a diamond instead of a square?
because the diamond, I mean, it's a square basically. It's just at an angle to the arena. Oh, well, instead of a circle is because he's got 4 legs. It'll look like a circle when you're done. Right? And then you can make a diamond or your square anywhere. You don't have to be the center line B and E. You could just twist it, and then you're riding your circle. 4 points anywhere on the circle, on your diamond, anywhere on that will turn it into a circle.
Okay, what do you do? I don't have a mic, so
What do you do if your horse is overbending and falling out?
You got to ride more with the outside rein straight to your mark. So you give the inside rein, hug with both legs, push the hind legs, and you use the outside rein to make their foreheads face the spot. Then the turning aid. And again, that's the outside rein's the turning aid. The inside rein just indicates the turn. Because what you have to do is keep the horse straight and turn them by moving the shoulder. It's the outside front leg that you need to control to make the turn.
What I also do, if you want to make it simpler, is add more cones and make it more turns as you go.
Right, that's the thing. You could put the cones at the quarter lines. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, a diamond is a square.
But then you make a pentagon and then a hexagon.
And eventually you can make a decagon and it'll be a circle. So that circle will always be kind of straight, little turn, kind of straight, little turn, because you got to keep the horse on the line of travel. And as the horse becomes more familiar and the rider becomes more familiar, then you can ride that whole thing with the bend.
All right, Nicole, what exercise are you grateful for?
I am really, really grateful for the ribbon candy serpentine. So the wind that we have right now, we had last night, except worse. And so I was trying to ride my mare, and we come from a place where we don't have a lot of wind. So it was going up her bum, and she felt very nervous. And so I pretty much stuck to the ribbon candy my entire ride. So the ribbon candy serpentine is a variation on our traditional serpentine, but it folds back onto itself more. So as Amelia is coming around, instead of a moment of straightness, she continues the turn and then goes on a little bit more of a diagonal line and then back to the next turn. And the idea is that you have very, very few steps of straightness and that you're always moving the horse off of one leg into the next shoulder and then back again. The reason why I like this more than just a regular circle, 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 circle is because I find, especially if it's a spooky kind of environment, that the horse will start to fall out the one shoulder. So I'm going to stay on that one circle for a minute. If you're on this super tight circle, do you see how Mercurio's neck naturally bends more than the rest of his body, which is what we don't want, right? So when we do the ribbon candy and if he overbends slightly, which sometimes happens when they're nervous, it's okay because immediately you're going to the new bend and it actually makes them more supple and more balanced on both sides without that falling out of the shoulder. So, yeah. And what I also like about it is as your horse gets a little bit more relaxed, you can make the loops a little bigger or a little bit less bendy and test it without just going straight and seeing what happens.
Are there anyone from the chat that has a favorite exercise?
I feel like my chat isn't populating, so I'm going to go stand over there for a second while you guys do the next exercise.
What's the next exercise you're grateful for?
As I go up in the training. So after I get my circle solved, because the circle, you know, why do we ride so many circles in dressage? To make our horses straight. And so once I can make a circle on a horse, then I feel a little better about going off and using the full arena, and then I'll do my leg yields into my canter departs. That's how I like to teach the canter depart.
Why is that a good
Inside leg to outside aids, get the horse balanced, get him in, and then when you make that turn, that they're already around that inside leg, and it just lends itself into getting into an easy canter depart.
Do you do it though, like leg yield to the rail and then like go on to the circle and canter, like right as you ask for it?
Yeah, I don't really even think about leg yield to the rail like a show pattern. It's more like leg yield towards the rail, and when I'm close to the rail, I already start my turn and ask when I'm turning. I don't do the straight part.
So it would be like leg yield and then come here.
Yeah,
All right. Would you like me to demonstrate it?
that's probably a good thing.
Have a canter here.
It'll be fine. So if you're going to come down from C-ish, right, between the center line and the quarter line, I'm not going to get out there with a protractor. It's not a show. So you turn early, push outwards. And when you feel that the leg yield is happening, now you just turn for your circle and make your canter depart. No straight, no straight. You went straight.
Not accurate enough. 4. Do it again.
Well,
not
because
a 4.
this thing isn't about an accuracy. It's about the feeling of inside leg to outside aid.
And so waiting for the feeling.
So once you get, it's not finish a leg yield, go straight, make canter, because then you've lost the inside leg outside aids that the leg yield gave you, because now you went forward straight. That's it.
And they probably couldn't see.
Not about the accuracy.
Not for this. It's not like you're going to make a leg yield from the center line to the B and then it be a 20-meter circle eventually, but when I'm teaching it, no, because I don't want to make it so hard for the horse. So I just make that leg yield and I just feel the leg yield, and as soon as I get over towards the rail, no straight, turn canter. That's how I do it.
I don't think when I do it, I don't think I circle when I do it. I think I was gonna say, I think that might be
I'm all about the easier, softer way until I'm not.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You got to teach it to the horse in the easiest way. That's what you were saying earlier. You have to find a way to make the horse understand what you want. You make it really easy for them.
You give them confidence.
Then once they learn it, then you say, okay, now we're going to make it a little more dressage-y.
What about you, Amelia? What's one of your exercises you're thankful for?
My exercise, the snowman, which is very fitting. No one can hear me though.
She said the snowman.
Do we have any favorite exercises from our viewers?
Yes. Barbara's saying ice cream cones.
Oh, yes.
That's a good one. Hannah was saying, I like Herman's lateral work pattern where it's shoulder in to renverse, push to center line, turn, shoulder in, half
that's
pass.
a good one.
That is a good one.
More advanced.
But that's a little more, a little more advanced.
And then Bruce and Laura are saying, I like haunches in all gaits. Paula says, I like the exercise where you're working towards the walk pirouette. I use it for turn on the haunches, walk alongside the pole, get to the end, turn on the hind end, and walk back. Oh, yeah, I like that one too.
Oh, yeah. That was from our pirouette course.
Yeah, I like
We should
that.
bring that back again. Where you do like a quarter pirouette at each side of the pole on the ground.
No, I like that one. Janice is asking, when doing the leg yield to canter, how do you know when to give the aid?
When you make the turn.
Well, how do you know when to make the turn? Like, I think what they're asking is, how do you know when you have that feeling? The mic.
Here.
We only have 2 mics.
We've only got 2 mics. So
super technical yet.
I'm just riding that leg yield till I'm at a real estate, really. Like I get over towards the rail, and when I'm at the rail, I turn and go.
When you feel your horse soften.
Well, the leg yield's supposed to take care of that whole softening. So theoretically, I would be able to make a canter transition well before I actually ask, because the first 2 or 3 steps of the leg yield should create that softness. If not, by the 4th, right? He's off the inside leg going to the outside aids. I just like to come down a little farther towards the middle of the arena so I have more room.
So you can make a better circle. Okay.
So it isn't like, oh, I'm waiting for that feeling. It's really about, that's just really about distance and space. But what I don't want is to come straight forward out of that leg yield for 2 or 3 steps and then turn for the canter, because then I haven't used the leg yield the way I wanted it.
Use the leg yield as an asset for the canter transition.
Right.
Rather than just doing a shape or a pattern. Do you want to show us the snowman, Amelia, since it's your favorite?
Yes. Should I wear the microphone?
Yeah.
All right. So the snowman is an exercise that I learned from Conrad Schumacher in a very embarrassing clinic when my horse was being so naughty. He was like really tense and nervous and in love with his friend. And so Conrad taught me the snowman exercise as a way to get him supple and as a way to get him relaxed. And then since then, I've taught it to a lot of my students, and it's worked with pretty much every horse and every rider that I've worked with. So the snowman is called the snowman because it looks like a snowman. You make a big circle, which is the bottom, the base of your snowman. When you come to the center line, you make a small circle in the opposite direction, a 10-meter circle. And if you don't have a court, you can set out cones like we have here. And then you go back the other way, and then you make your transition up to the canter. And then you ride a circle in the canter, and you can adapt the snowman. So if you're not ready for cantering, you can just stay in the trot. If you want to stay in the canter a bit longer, you can do that. And before you come back to the center line, you trot and you make a 10-meter circle again. So it's a great exercise if you're having trouble picking up the lead, or if you're having trouble with your canter transition, or if your canter is out of balance or rushing or anything like that. It really is a wonderful exercise to improve everything. And like I said, you can adapt it. For example, if I have a horse that's not really bending on the 10-meter circle, I might repeat this circle 2 or 3 times in order to get my horse to relax. So that is one of my all-time favorite exercises. And I think that's it. Yeah. Everyone come over here.
There's lots more, but we don't have time. We'd be here all day, and poor Mercurio would be
here
exhausted.
all day, and we need to film some very exciting content for you. We did do a really cool video the other night in the dark with Mercurio, so stay tuned for our YouTube channel this holiday season. We will be publishing that over the holidays. But thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to check out our winter riding with Amelia course that's only available through Monday. And big thank you to Nicole and Herman for being here with me today. It's definitely more fun to do this with people. And then of course, Kane behind the camera, and Levi, come here.
Come on, Levi.
Come on. Levi's here too. Come on, Levi. Levi has to say thank you because we're grateful for Levi.
Best assistant trainer
Levi.
ever.
And we're grateful for Levi. We're grateful for all of our horses, all of our amazing teachers that have taught us these exercises and education.
And all of you guys for being here with us.
Yes, of course.
And so we have one more live on our week of thankfulness this week. So Monday, 5 p.m., we're back in the office, and we're going over the technology we're thankful for and how that helps us with learning and advancing our riding, because there's a lot of things that are available today that weren't even 10 or 15 or 20 years ago.
Like the fact that we can be here live from our arena broadcasting to you wherever in the world you are watching from. We would love to hear where you're from. But I think about that all the time. Like we could not be doing what we're doing even 5-10 years ago.
It was VHS video, you had to mail it. And... Crazy.
So it's an amazing time, and we're grateful to be a part of your journey. And I think Kane will figure out how to show